Hey guys, how's it going? Let's get started with Grammar and Writing Lesson 45. First of all is your vocabulary. Our first word is luxuriant. Luxuriant. The definition of luxuriant is abundant or lush in growth. Again, lush just kind of means it's full, it's yena, whatever is growing. So if something is luxuriant, it means that there's a lot of it and it's growing very well. So you could say she has a luxuriant head of hair. That means she has a full head of hair. She has a lot of hair on her head. It's growing well. It's growing a lot. That's luxuriant. For example, another example, the luxuriant valley is famous for its agriculture. So here, luxuriant valley, it has a lot of plants in it. So it's famous for its agriculture, all of the plants and things. Okay, now the next word is similar, but it is different, okay? Similar in its sound and a little bit of its meaning, but it is different. So this word is luxurious. Luxurious. Luxurious, its definition is rich, sumptuous, or given to pleasure. Rich, sumptuous, or given to pleasure. So sumptuous, that's the idea of it's delicious, it's rico. Rich is the idea that it's something that's very extravagant, and then given to pleasure. So it provides you with great pleasure, but it's something that is not necessary for your life. It's a little extra. For example, many famous celebrities frequented the luxurious hotel. So it's a very rich hotel, has a lot of entertainment in it. It's very luxurious. Okay, let's get some practice. Fill in the blank with the correct vocabulary word. Number 1. The blank jungles along the Amazon River provide homes for many tropical animals. What kind of jungles would that be? Number 2. Miss Pringle's blank bathtub cost thousands of dollars. What word would go in there? So it would be something that's very expensive, a little over the top with its expense. Number 3, their blank limousine featured a red leather interior with polished wood paneling. What word should go there? And number 4, a latticed patio. Latticed means like it has a kind of a fence that crisscrosses each other. Let me show you. Hold on. Draw something that'll give you an idea. So a lattice might look something like this. So if it's a latticed patio, that means the wall, here's the wall, so the fencing in it is crisscrossed. Obviously, it looks prettier than my drawing. My drawing is just to give you an idea. Okay, something like that. So that would be a latticed wall around the patio. So a latticed patio was covered with blank foliage. Foliage would be plants. So which word would describe that? Okay, let's see. Number 1, the luxuriant jungles along the Amazon River provide homes for many tropical animals. So it's full of plants, basically full of trees, palms, things like that. Miss Pringle's luxurious bathtub costs thousands of dollars. So it means it's something that's for a rich person. It's over the top. Can you imagine having a bathtub that costs thousands of dollars? Woo! No, no. Their luxurious limousine featured a red leather interior with polished wood paneling. Okay, this is luxurious because, again, it's something that's very rich. It's for pleasure. It's not a necessity. And number 4, a latticed patio was covered with blank foliage. With luxuriant, so that means, full and rich. Okay, adding words to and word groups. This is what we're talking about today. So we're on page 95 for your writing. So that's the title at the top, is adding words and word groups. To make your writing livelier, I mean, more interesting, you can sometimes combine important details from 2 or more sentences in a new sentence. For example, separate we saw a cobbler. He was in the restored village. That was in Ohio. Okay, it's very choppy and a little boring. So we can kind of condense it, that means make it smaller and make it more interesting and a little more smooth, honestly, by combining the details. So we saw a cobbler, he was in the restored village. All right, that means I can take out that he was because I'm talking about the cobbler. Okay, so we saw a cobbler in the restored village. What was in Ohio? The village was in Ohio. So I can take out the that was because in Ohio, whoops, sorry, I didn't mean to draw it through there, but anyway, in Ohio is the village. All right, let's see what we get. We saw a cobbler in the restored village in Ohio. So we have the restored village going back to cobbler, in Ohio going back to village. So it all combines. All right. Sometimes you must add a comma or and between 2 words that you move. This is when you have adjectives. Okay, remember that you can, when you have 2 adjectives, we have that rule. If you're allowed to put the word and in between them, then you would put a comma in between. So you can do either the comma or the and. So if you have 2 adjectives describing something, but you put that in 2 sentences, you can combine it by just moving both of the adjectives next to each other. Let me show you. We started down a path. It was narrow, it was winding. Okay, what was narrow? The path was narrow. The path was also winding. So both of these words point back to path. I want to describe path with both of them. So I can make this a lot simpler. We started down a narrow, winding path. So we have that comma showing that these are both adjectives describing path. Or you could say, we started down a narrow and winding path. Certain sentences will sound better with the and because it gives more emphasis to your 2 adjectives, but most of the time, commas will be better. All right, sometimes you will need to change the form of a word that you move. For example, the waves rolled in. Their movement was gentle. Okay, rolled and their movement is the same thing. Rolling in, that's the idea of how they're moving, okay? But that's the verb. So gentle is describing their movement, which means it's describing rolled. So I can combine these sentences by using gentle to describe rolled. But I can't say the waves gentle rolled. That doesn't work because gentle is an adjective, and remember, adjectives don't describe verbs. Adverbs do. So I have to change this to an adverb. The adverb for gentle is gently. So the waves gently rolled in. So this condenses it, it makes it smaller, and it makes it a little more interesting. Instead of just the waves rolled in, the waves gently rolled in. Now I know that there's probably a couple of you that say, Miss Ashley, I have no idea how you do this. I'm going to walk you through 3 of them. Just try your best, okay? If you need help while you're working on it, let me know and I'd be happy to help you with more, okay? So let's get to the practice. Excuse me 1 second. I'm going to pause this. You won't know it, but I'm going to pause it. Okay, so here we go. Combine each of the following groups of sentences. If necessary, use a comma or and, or change the form of the words. Okay, so we're going to show you, you can use, I showed you 3 ways to combine sentences, okay? So you can use any of those 3 ways. It will depend on what kind of sentences you're given, what ways you can do it. Okay, for example, number 1. Now this is number 1 on your paper, so do it with me, okay? He found the treasure. It was buried. Well, what was buried? The treasure was buried, right? So since treasure was buried, buried describes treasure, right? So I could combine this by making this an adjective in the first sentence and putting it right here. He found the buried treasure. Okay? Let's go on to number 2 and 3. Paco waited in the lobby. The lobby was hot. It was crowded. Okay, so how can I combine this? Well, I see right here that hot describes lobby. Crowded also describes lobby. Lobby was hot, and the it in this sentence is referring to the lobby. So we have a hot lobby. We also have a crowded lobby. So these are 2 adjectives describing this word. So I can put them both in front of here, and I combine them with either an and or with a comma. Now before I do this, I'm going to go ahead down and do this one, and then I'll show you the answers. Al performed on the horizontal bar. His performance was smooth. Okay, so we see that he performed. His performance was smooth. So smooth here, this word is describing his performance. Performed is over here, but here it's a verb. Smooth is an adjective. So I'm going to change it to an adverb by adding ly. That's how you make most adjectives into adverbs. You put an ly on the end. Not all, but most of them. So then I can move that word over here. Keep moving. Sorry. Oops. Come back. Sorry, I'm making a mess. Okay. So you would want to move it here after performed. You could do it in front of performed, but really it would look a little better after performed, but you could do it in either spot. Okay, so let's look back at number 2. Paco waited in the hot, crowded lobby. So here we have a comma to join them, or you could say Paco waited in the hot and crowded lobby. So both hot and crowded describing lobby. Number 3. Oops. There's your homework. There's number 3. Al performed smoothly on the horizontal bar. Okay? If you still feel like you're not sure what to do, you can do it, okay? I have confidence in you. I want you to try it on your own, then ask me for help, okay? Do not hesitate to ask me for help, but first I want you to try it. And who knows, you might get really, really close, and I might just need to say, oh, hey, just switch these 2 words, or add an ly, or no, don't add an ly to that one, and you'll be good to go, okay? So try it first, and then let me know if you need any more help. So complete adding words and word groups, page 95.